Hi friends, my name is Shannon and I work for Cobb County Public Library and I have a story to share with you today. This is called Leo, a Ghost Story by Mac Barnett, pictures by Christian Robinson. Let's read this one together. Leo, a Ghost Story. This is Leo. Most people cannot see him. Do you see a ghost? Do you see Leo? But you can. Leo is a ghost. Can you see him? Yeah, that is so awesome. For many years, Leo lived by himself in a house on the edge of the city, reading books and drawing pictures in the dust. One day in spring, a family moved in. What do you think Leo thinks about a family moving into the house? He wouldn't be so lonely, right? He wouldn't be by himself. Leo was glad to have company. On the family's first night, he made them mint tea and honey toast. Leo thought he was being a good host, but the family saw things differently. Do you think the family was happy to have a ghost in their new house? Maybe not. They hid in the bathroom and locked the door. "This house is haunted," said the man. "Gary, I'm scared," said the woman. "I hate tea," said the boy, "and I hate ghosts." They did not know that Leo was floating above the tub. He heard everything they said. Poor Leo. The family called in a scientist, a clergyman, and a psychic to get rid of the ghost. But they should have saved their money. Leo knew he was unwanted. He said goodbye to his home and left. I feel bad for Leo having to leave his home. I have been a house ghost all my life, Leo thought. Maybe I would like being a roaming ghost for a while. So, Leo roamed. Leo saw the city and the people who lived there. Nobody saw Leo. The city was not like Leo remembered it. Some places were wonderful. Some places were scary. Everywhere it was so noisy. I think probably the city has changed since Leo was not a ghost. Leo went to a street corner where his favorite candy store used to be. Now nothing was there. "Excuse me," he asked a police officer. "Do you know where?" The officer walked right through him. Yikes. There was an afternoon when Leo found himself roaming along a sidewalk covered in drawings. He came across a girl holding chalk in her hand. The girl looked up and stared right at Leo. "I'm Jane," she said. "What's your name?" It was so strange to be looked at that at first Leo said nothing. Finally he replied, "I'm Leo." Jane nodded. "Leo, do you want to play Knights of the Round Table?" So Jane can see him. Just like you and me, we can see him too. "Yes," Leo said, because he did. "Good," said Jane. "First you have to get knighted by the king." "Who is the king?" Leo asked. "I am," said Jane. "That's why I'm wearing this crown on my head." Leo looked at her head. He did not see a crown. Still, he kneeled down and was knighted on the spot. Are they playing pretend? Yeah, they're using their imaginations. Leo and Jane sat at a table. "Sir Leo," said Jane, "meet Sir Ruffs, a loyal dog. Don't you think he looks handsome in his armor?" "Yes," said Leo. He bowed at an empty chair. "And Sir Leo," said Jane, "this is Sir Muse, a loyal cat. Don't you find his whiskers wise-looking?" "I do," said Leo, and he bowed again. "And finally," said Jane, "this is Sir Squawks." Leo interrupted, "A loyal bird." Jane frowned. "No," she said. "Sir Squawks is a giant hamster." "Oh," said Leo. "Well, I'm not wearing my glasses." Jane squinted at the chair. "I guess," she said. "Jane," a woman's voice came from another room. "Tell your imaginary friends goodbye and come down to dinner." "Fine," said Jane. She turned to Leo. "My mom doesn't think imaginary friends are worthwhile, but I think you're great." And with that, she stood up and went to the kitchen. Leo felt awful. "She thinks I am imaginary," he thought. "If I tell her I'm a ghost, I will scare her away." Yikes. I wonder what Leo's going to do. After dinner, Jane returned to her room and gave Leo a sword. They snuck into a cave, slew a dragon, and stole all his loot. When Leo closed his eyes, he could almost see the gold coins and green scales. After a glorious feast, it was time for bed. Does it look like they're having a lot of fun? I think Jane is a good friend to Leo. Jane gave Leo a pillow and a sheet. "Don't tell Sir Ruffs," she said, "but you are my best imaginary friend." "Yes," said Leo. He was so happy, he couldn't sleep. Do you see his happy smiling face? So cute. Leo went to the living room so he wouldn't wake Jane with his rustling. All night he lay on the floor designing his coat of arms. And so Leo was awake when a sneak thief climbed through the window. "Halt!" cried Leo. But the thief passed through him on his way to the silverware. Oh no. Not good. Later, Leo would not be able to say where the idea came from. He threw the bedsheet over himself and flew at the thief, who was so frightened he dropped all the salad forks. Leo chased the man into a closet, then slammed the door shut and locked him inside. It was very well done. I think Leo just saved the day. The sound of the door woke Jane, who called the police and roused her mother. A squad car came and hauled the man off to jail. That was that. "Thanks," said Jane. "You're welcome," said Leo. "I'm glad I could help." "But Leo," said Jane, "if you're my imaginary friend, how did you scare that robber?" Leo looked down at the carpet. "Jane, I told you a lie. I'm a ghost. I said I was your imaginary friend, but I'm not. I'm just your real friend." "Oh," said Jane. "Well, that's even better." Is Jane scared that Leo is a ghost? Or is she happy? Yes, she's happy. And they went to the kitchen to have mint tea and honey toast at midnight. The end. Thank you so much for sharing that story about Leo with me. If you got to meet Leo in real life, like if you got to see him in real life, would you be happy to have a ghost friend like Leo? Yeah. And you know what? I think that even if I couldn't have a real ghost friend, I think it would be really fun to have an imaginary ghost friend. Remember, Jane thought that Leo was her imaginary friend first, and then she found out that he was really a real ghost friend. So I think a real ghost friend or an imaginary ghost friend, I would be happy to have either of those. Maybe we can think about imaginary ghost friends today. Well, anyway, I'm really glad that I got to share this story with you, and I hope I see you next time for a new story. But for today, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!